Hi, I'm Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton, and I represent Virginia's 10th District in the U.S. House of Representatives. We can never repay the debt we owe to those who have served our country in uniform, but we do have a responsibility to care for our veterans and their families when they return home. I'm proud to offer this video series of conversations between my office's Military and Veterans Liaison, Anthony Barnes, and veterans service organizations in our community to help Virginia 10 veterans get connected to resources that can get them the support that they need. I hope you enjoy these conversations and find them informative. And remember, my office is here to help however we can. Visit wexton.house.gov/contact to get in touch with us. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Anthony Barnes, the Veteran and Military Manager for Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton here in Virginia's 10th District. We're excited to continue our series of Veteran Service Organization interviews here within the 10th District. We're excited to be joined today by Veterans Moving Forward, a veteran service dog organization here, right here in Dulles in VA 10. We're joined by three fantastic folks. Colonel Gordon Sumner, the President and CEO of Veterans Moving Forward. We've got Katie Polson, Program Director and Head Trainer. And we have Deangelo Wynn, United States Naval veteran and recipient of 2 service dogs from Veteran Moving Forward, Jug and Harry, and we'll get into those 2 fantastic creatures a little bit later here. We're bringing you Veterans Moving Forward as part of National Service Dog Month, just to show what resources we have right here in our district for our veterans. We highlight these organizations, and today is no different. In fact, it's a little bit more special because this is a homegrown organization that has really provided outstanding service to veterans from all over, not just here in VA 10, but Deangelo, as a VA 10 veteran himself and former intern in our office, can attest later. Outstanding job at no cost. So to get started, Colonel Sumner, Katie, you give us a little background on Veterans Moving Forward, how you got started, and kind of where you've grown.
Well, I'll kind of set the stage on how we got started. It was founded by Karen Jeffries, who is a retired Navy commander, and Bob Larson, a friend of hers from New York, who was a financier up on Wall Street. And they had this concept of forming a 501c3 with the sole purpose of providing service dogs to veterans at no cost to the veteran or their family, and without any particular requirement of the veteran. So, for example, there are some organizations that will provide a service dog to only those who served in a particular combat theater, or they had to have been wounded in combat, or they had to be a certain military branch, or they had to have done whatever. We don't do that. The only requirement is that the veteran has to have served honorably. It could be one-term service, or they could be a retiree, and they with that honorable service, and that their primary care providers support their request for getting a service dog, and that's it. And then we don't particularly focus just on Virginia. We are a national nonprofit, so we provide service dogs wherever the veteran may be located. We've been in existence now 11 years. We got our 501c3 in July of 2010. Again, starting off small and then growing, and we're continuing to provide these great animals to these deserving veterans now. Here we are 11 years later.
Fantastic. Katie, if you don't mind, as the head trainer, could you tell us a little bit about, I think we all have a little bit of familiarity with service dogs, but what specific services do these dogs provide our veterans, or help them with?
We have tasks. We train tasks for PTSD interruption, nightmare interruption, seizure response for veterans with TBIs, mobility bracing, wheelchair access. It's pretty much, we customize the dog to the veteran of what the veteran needs.
Fantastic. And I can see that being, a very diverse.
It's very diverse. You have to be diverse.
Yeah. I was just going to say the diverse needs of our veteran population is growing as well.
And most applications we get anymore there's significant numbers of TBIs with seizures and mobility bracing. That's the big one.
Gotcha. Deangelo, having been a recipient of the service dogs yourself, if you don't mind, totally up to you, but I'd love to hear a little bit about how it's benefited you.
Yep, absolutely, Anthony. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the compliments earlier. It was absolutely one of the highlights of my beginning professional life to work with the interns, work with VA10. So again, thank you for that opportunity. But absolutely, VMF and the dogs that I've received, both Jug and Harry, have been absolutely life-changing. I'm a combat veteran. I got out of the military and medically retired, and I struggled with PTSD and coupled with bipolar. It was extremely difficult. I had moments of anxiety, stress, getting sometimes again suicidal ideations, and I didn't want medicine. I wasn't a fan of taking. I was at one point 11 medications. I'm like, I'm just not a fan of this. I'm 24 years old. I don't want to be doing this. At that time, 24 years old. I wish I was still, but divine intervention, if you will. Veterans Moving Forward. I was the president of the Shenandoah Veterans and Supporters Group at Shenandoah University, and VMF came during our Veterans Engagement Board, which you sat on as well, Anthony, or were part of, and gave a demonstration. I had no idea. I was completely ignorant to the fact that service dogs could help with mental health disorders. I was one of many that I've grown to know who thought that you had to have a physical impairment, blind, missing a limb. So I had no idea. I then talked with the VMF representatives and was able to get into the process, and I got with Jug. Jug absolutely changed my life and my outlook. I went from 11 medications to 2. Jug interrupts my anxiety. I bite my nails, tap my feet. He knows. Jug created a sense of purpose where I, at a point, thought I didn't have any. He needs a potty. It's somebody to take care of. It's routine. And Jug helped create that. So I truly, without VMF, I don't believe that I would be here. Jug, and we mentioned Harry as well, but Jug is a senior. He's graduated and retiring on the green pastures, if you will. He's doing great. He's 10 years old. And within the organization, and I'll even let Katie jump onto this once I finish up. They like to kind of, once the dog starts to slow down a little, again, I'm still high up tempo. You want to place you with more of a younger, more compatible for your operational tempo. And so I lucked out and I was able to be placed with Harry. Harry is absolutely awesome. Now, Jug have a special place in my heart, and I have to talk nice about both of them because they're right here and they do have feelings. So, but Harry is absolutely amazing. Harry has learned from Jug. Katie and the organization did an amazing job, and he just picked up and took off just where Jug left him. Jug did right seat, left seat, and Harry has been amazing. He's here at work with me right now. Angle down. I hate we got to take the door. Hey boys, say hello. Say hello. Oh yeah. So these boys, I'm fortunate enough to be in an organization that allows for me to not only bring my currently active service dog Harry, but be able to have Jug to be able to come and be a companion as well, even though he's retired. So I hope I touched on some of the question that you asked, but I, without a doubt, VMF has changed my life with these service animals. And Jug and Harry have truly given me a new leash, if you will, on life.
Thank you, Deangelo. That's incredible. And thanks for sharing your experiences so much. Katie, Deangelo brought an interesting point up whenever you're talking about an organization that he works for that allows him to bring a service dog and his service dogs in training. To get off the point a bit, is that something as a community you're seeing more availability for veterans, or just in general for people to be able to bring their service dogs with them? I know it is a law, however.
It's still, there are businesses that will still fight it, and you definitely have to prove a need for it at several businesses, but it's definitely, they've made more of a statement in the community, and people are getting, you're seeing them more and more, especially with all the medical alert dogs coming out, with the diabetic alert dogs, seizure response. So I think they're being more accepted. It's not that you won't run into issues at different places, but I think they're a lot more accepted, especially for the veterans now, because it's with the current war that we're coming out of and coming out of Afghanistan, the need is just increased and doubled, and they're becoming more and more common. So I think it is accepted a little easier.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something we're seeing in Congress, a push for legislation to make things a little bit easier for organizations, which is something we'll touch on offline. Gordon, Colonel Sumner, if you don't mind talking about, I notice Jug and Harry, two different kinds of dogs. Is that correct, Deangelo? Same dog, different color?
Same dog, different color.
All right. So is that the type of canine that you all work with, or is it diverse? How, and how do you procure the dogs for training?
I'll start it and I'll let Katie take this back over because that's still in her wheelhouse. But when we started Veterans Moving Forward, we did try a variety of dogs. We had standard poodles, we had German Shepherds, Golden Retrievers, Labrador Retrievers. I mean, a mix, just to try to get a good training program to meet the needs as these veterans were coming in with their special needs. And as Katie alluded to earlier, they're all different. They're all unique. And that's what makes it so critical that we match the right dog with the right veteran so that they get the service that they need. And then over time, it really has just grown to where the Labrador Retriever really comes out as being the type of dog that meets the needs as we see them. Also based on the great support that Katie has built up over the years and relationships with breeders that have those dogs here in our local area and around the country, really, so that we're able to get pretty much the cream of the crop when it comes to the litters. They will call us up and say, hey, we've got a litter coming. Do you have a need for a puppy? And if so, let us know. And then Katie takes off and then she does this. I'll let her kind of go from there as to how we and why we do what we do with these particular dogs, but they're great. So Katie?
I do kind of steer towards the Labrador Retriever because they have probably the lowest quote unquote washout rate. I hate to use that term, but they do have a lower washout rate because they were originally bred in the early 1900s to work with man. I mean, they bred down the Newfoundland and the St. John to get a dog that could work with the men on the boats that was smaller in size than a Newfoundland, with a longer working life than a Newfoundland, because they're a good size for bracing. They're a good size for an airplane, for public transportation. So they're just an easy breed to work with. And they were bred for these purposes.
And we don't just stay with a particular, as we mentioned earlier, what Deangelo has is same dog, just different colors. So we have the dark chocolate, we have the milk chocolate, and we have the white chocolate. So I mean, we kind of go around with different ones, but they're all just great dogs.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned, and something that's extremely important, especially when it comes to this, is the cost effectiveness for the veteran. You provide all of this at no cost. Can you talk a little bit about what a standard cost for you to absorb as an organization to provide that service is?
Well, right now in today's dollars, when a dog like Harry walks out the door with a veteran like Deangelo, that's about a $40,000 to $50,000 asset. So it takes quite a bit of time and effort and the costs that are ingrained into that. And that's not just the dog. I mean, the dogs nowadays, just as puppies, are expensive when we get them. Even though we get a discount, it's still a pretty good upfront cost. And so what we're trying to do now over the next year or so is we're really focusing in on the cost, tracking exactly what we do, why we do it, what line item it goes to, because we really want to get more of an accurate cost figure, especially when we go to our donors. Then that way we can try to do it. And we do as much cost savings. We work with veterinarians who provide us discounted prices. As I mentioned earlier, the puppies, when we get them, they're a little bit of a discount price. We get a lot of things donated. We get some food that's donated to us by food product makers, dog food makers. We have a wedding registry that's out there on Smile Amazon, so that some of the local schools, especially the middle schools, they want to do something. So they'll raise a few dollars and buy some of our training equipment or dog toys, and the kids get a kick out of that. So we do have that, but then we still have a lot of expenses in the training facility itself, the larger equipment that we need to train the dog, salaries, upkeep, and all that kind of stuff.
Wow, that's quite a service you're providing at an extreme cost, and I know it's incredibly appreciated. Deangelo, you mentioned this is, Harry will be your second service dog. What's the training time frame for a service dog from, just bookend it start to finish, from the introduction to the veteran to walking out the door?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, but I think that's a better question for Katie. I am an anomaly in almost everything in life, and in this situation as well, with both of my dogs. Jug came to me already in a unique situation, so he and I were able to pair together, and it took us about 4 to 5, 6 months on the latter end to be paired and walk out the door. And Harry and I, another anomaly, it took us about 1 month. That is an extreme anomaly. So I will pass that over to Katie because I don't want to give any false hopes out here. So please take over with the proper procedure.
Well, Harry kind of picked his own veteran, so he was an anomaly. Usually we get the dogs as puppies and we raise them till they're 18 months to 2 years old. I don't typically introduce the veteran to them until I kind of know, this dog's going to lean more towards bracing or wheelchair work. This dog, and I want to make sure it's a healthy dog, because you can get these dogs, raise them, and then all of a sudden, whoa, okay, this dog doesn't have the hips for this, or there's some kind. We have a dog that's going to have like $5,000 worth of dental surgery, so he's not, and he's only 9 months old, so he's not going to be a service dog, unfortunately. So I don't want to give the veteran false hope as far as like, okay, this is going to be your dog and we got this great puppy and he's really cute. Okay, wait, your great cute puppy now has bad hips. So I usually introduce him about a year old, somewhere after that point, when I pretty much know it's going to be a nice, healthy, strong dog, and what direction that dog's going to take. And then usually I introduce them to the veteran and they'll meet them a couple times along the way. And then they come out and train with them for about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks at the very end before they go home. And then we still have to follow up and do checks along the way after that because once they get home, there's that honeymoon period they go through. And then we kind of have to go and check and make sure everything's staying on track, because then the dog's like, okay, let's see what I can get away with now that I've been here a while. Because they are thinking creatures. Yeah, it's unusual. You get the Harry and Deangelos situation where Harry's like, oh, by the way, I'm moving in with this guy. Which is kind of what he started doing. So and those unique situations do happen. One of the other dogs that we placed this year, that dog pretty much said, yeah, this is my person. And he was attached from almost the time they met. They were pretty much hooked.
I think that's Harry's brother, right?
That is Harry's brother, yeah. Yes. So it's those Chilbrook dogs, yeah. The brother bears.
That's an incredible bond.
Those two dogs bonded to their veterans probably faster than anything I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable. And I was actually doing Jug's public access test, and we were discussing Jug retiring, and Harry started working on Deangelo.
Yep.
During the first meeting, like during the actual test, he was like, "Oh, like this guy's," and I did not pick up on the stress until Harry was right there.
Wow.
So it was pretty incredible.
So you just mentioned the public access test.
Mhm.
Is that something that service dogs need to go through like on an annual basis or? Okay.
Mhm.
So it doesn't just end with walking out the door. You
Absolutely
follow,
not.
you follow
Nope.
the dog and the veteran throughout their lifetime.
Yes.
Wow. That's incredible.
And it's nice to have that, just to chime in. It's nice to be able to leverage that relationship, to know that you have that kind of safety net. If you need continuing training, if you need, because like she said, as Katie referred to, sometimes your dog wants to figure out what's your limits. What are you gonna let them get away with? Well, when we were in training and being watched, you held me on the leash. Now you let me do what I wanted. So it's nice to have that check and balance as a veteran for in seeing other service dogs or ESAs. And I say that, bring that up because I think it's really important that we make the distinction. Because I mean, I don't hate to say a problem statement, but one of the things that I've run into that is kind of a problem is that we, with it being so accessible to find vests that say a service dog, it is really, really frustrating and difficult when we see an imposter or somebody, or maybe I should say imposter because it definitely seems more derogatory, but a dog that hasn't been fully trained and vetted, a juxtaposed a dog BMF or a dog from another service that is a service dog. So then you have that apprehension from organizations, airlines, and I think that's where we get a lot of the public kind of tension sometimes. But the public access test, getting back to that point, helps mitigate that. When we are able to go to Shenandoah and walk through the campus and go into the different areas, go to a CVS, go into a Walmart, and be able to see the training that is involved and see the dog at work, the public access test at work, and then just the veteran and the dog at work, I think that helps everybody. It's just a symbiotic relationship. So I think it's something that I'm so proud that BMF does that every year. So yeah.
That's great. And you know, you mentioned the misrepresentation of service dog versus emotional support dog. And yeah, you know, you definitely see that. And it is difficult to tell, you know, sometimes, especially in public areas and with the acceptance of dogs in public areas, you know, it's so important to accurately do that. So we're hearing what you all are doing for veterans. What can we as a community do for you all?
First off, Anthony, awareness. We need to let people know who we are and what it is that we do and why we are such an important part of the district and of the community, especially in the Northern Virginia area, but not only that, but nationally, because as we mentioned earlier, we do support veterans wherever they are in our great country. So helping to spread the word, as we say, become true believers in veterans moving forward and helping us expand our paw print out there so that we can get more people that will come in, especially as donors and supporters like that. That's it. It's real simple. The more funds that we can raise, the more dogs we can train, and the more veterans we can do and support. And it's not just the veterans. We support the families and the communities. And as Deangelo mentioned earlier, once he got support from veterans moving forward, he was able to not only just move forward with his life, but he impacted other people because he was now out in the community. He went back to school. He's got a job. He started paying taxes. And for me, that's important because I get my military retirement from taxes. So I want people out working and paying their taxes so I can keep Miss Vicky into the lifestyle to which she's grown accustomed. So I need people to become true believers in us and help us raise the funds so that we can do more. One last comment. Since Afghanistan has fallen, the rise in suicide prevention hotline phone numbers is on a dramatic increase. Those people need help. We're proud to say that since we placed our first dog at Veterans Moving Forward, in every veteran that has received a dog since then, we've had 0 suicides. So we are part of the suicide prevention programs out there, and we can help do that. We need to get these veterans help. We can do it with our service dog programs in coordination with other programs that are out there helping. We just need the support from the community.
one statement that I actually received from a veteran, I got an email from him after he received his dog. And it was probably 3 or 4 months after he received his dog. And he actually emailed me one morning and said, I was just talking to my wife and we realized I haven't thought or talked about suicide in over a month. And it was he tried to commit suicide 3 times. It was a daily fight for him. And he said this dog's given him a reason to live.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
And now he's working with other veterans, trying to get them the help they need. So he's taken that to the next step. And now he's helping veterans, just working through the VA system. He works as a chaplain at one of his local veteran communities. He's doing all kinds of stuff just to try to help veterans. He sent veterans to us to try to, get them the help they need.
Yeah,
So he's taken it into giving back.
Yeah, it's really good because this particular veteran that Katie's mentioning, he supports one of our Purple Heart chapters down in the Williamsburg area. So he's helping that group of wounded veterans and their families as well. So it really is just tear-jerking to see what happens.
It's incredible, the impact. And on that note, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, if you are a veteran in need of crisis or in crisis or in need of assistance, the VA crisis line is 1-800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255 and reach someone immediately. And we also have, you mentioned some of our support services in the area. We have a vet center right here in Leesburg, right in VA 10 that specializes in this type of thing, and especially with Afghan veterans. So if there's assistance that you need, please, I think any one of us in this room would be happy to help you get that. So, thank you for that, for mentioning that, and for all you do. Now, I do have one quick thing here before we go. Jug and Harry. I love the names. Can you explain, anybody, where those names come from, how they get those names, and what the significance is?
Yeah, all our dogs are named after fallen veterans. They don't necessarily have to have died during combat. Harry's veteran did. But Gordon, you can take over that one.
Yeah, thanks for teeing that one up. Yeah, all of our dogs are really in memory and honor of these great veterans. We have some unique ones, and I'll let Deangelo talk about his 2 specifics. But for example, recently we named a puppy Ashley after First Lieutenant Ashley White, which a lot of people may go, wait a minute, I've heard that name. Yes, there was a movie coming out about Lieutenant White. There's a book out about her that was written by her sister. When you go to the new Army Museum, they're right outside Fort Belvoir, and you walk into the foyer area, and as you turn to go down to the galleries, you'll see soldier stories on big silver pillars. And on the far right-hand side of the first row is Lieutenant White and a short story about her. So that dog is named after. Another dog that we recently named is Hazel. Hazel is named after Brigadier General Hazel Johnson Brown, who was the first female Black African-American military officer to make general officer in our military. So Hazel's named after her. And then I'll let Deangelo talk about the 2 great dogs he's got and their namesakes.
I'm muting myself because I'll sit here and chat away and we're muted. I'm like, oh no, we're muted, I can't hear. But no, so I have 2 great boys. Jug, as we keep referring to, and he's looking up at me as I say his name. Jug is named after Andrew D. Turner, who was who was a Tuskegee Airman, served as a pilot. He's 21 confirmed area kills, I think. I'm reading. So that's his namesake. We actually love to have, I'd say it's fun, but it's a nice opportunity for Jug and I. Now Harry, I'll see if we can mix something up. But each year, Jug and I visit Arlington. And I like to go and we pay our respects on not only Memorial Day, but on the birthday of Andrew D. Turner. So it's a great, just my way of giving back. Also in hopes of one day, and I know the organization also sometimes, and I'm teeing this one up, likes to link us up with the namesake family. So Harry, and I know Katie is a little emotional. I do want her to talk about Harry's namesake because it's extremely personal to her. It's a connection and a bond that has, I mean, it's just bonded me and Katie, but also me and Harry. But Katie, I'll give it over to you because I think it's the best, most fitting.
Well, he was named after a family member that was killed in Iraq. He actually was responsible for saving 6 lives after he himself was wounded, and he was finally killed, saving the last life. Yeah, it was touching. He was 20 years old. So
He's named after PFC Harrison Meyer.
Harrison Rockbach-Meyer. He was he was a Navy medic or an Army medic attached to a Marine unit.
Wow. So it's an incredible honor that you all, I think, bestow upon these veterans, these service dogs, and as well as the memory of the veterans. And I think that's just one more thing to thank you guys for. Any parting comments before we close today? I can't thank you enough for joining me.
We appreciate the opportunity to tell our story to all of your listeners. We appreciate the Congresswoman's support for our program and all those that are like us out there that are helping veterans in their own unique ways. I know the county and the district are very supportive of our veteran communities, and that just goes a long way, being from that side of the equation as well. And again, please, to your listeners, look us up on our website, look us up on our Facebook page, share our stories, look at our events calendar, come out and support some of our fundraising events. And if you have any questions, you can contact us off the webpage, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you, visit with you. I know a lot of folks belong to different organizations. You're looking for speakers, you're looking for programs. Let us come out and be part of that and tell our stories to all of your friends and fellow organizations out there in Loudoun County and in the district. So we'd love to be out there.
If I could add to it, I would just like to get, for those listening or chiming in, it's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. And VMF truly reaches out and grasps you in that moment when you're not okay. And it's okay, guys. Reach out, ask for help. Find me on Facebook. My name's right there. Find Colonel Gordon, Colonel Sumner, but it's Dr. Sumner. Find them all those ways. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Katie, even Anthony, of course, the Congresswoman's office. But I just wanted to reach out to those veterans because I was one. I was one who didn't want to ask for help. It was easier for me to just, what I thought, deal with it. And hide it. But let us help. Let VMF help. Let these 2 boys help. So let them help you just as much as they help me. So that would be what I would want to add to it.
And when we do come out to speak to the community, many times we do come with dogs.
Great bonus.
And dogs that you can pet. We do have a couple ambassador dogs that we do put out kind of front so they can be petted, loved on. And we actually have a veteran that comes in every once in a while and he stops in and looks for those particular dogs.
That's fantastic. Well, Dr. Sumner, Katie, Deangelo, thank you so much for joining me. Folks, as always, I can be reached in the Congresswoman's office at our main phone lines. You can reach us for constituent services on our website under Help with the Federal Agency. And you can reach me directly at anthony.barnes, B-A-R-N-E-S, at mail.house.gov. The link to the website and the Facebook page for Veterans Moving Forward will be on the screen after this recording is finished. And I look forward to greeting everybody next month with our next organization. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And have a great day.
Thank you.